Doesn't get any better.
Hey, behave yourself. Yeah, too late? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. There we go. Yes. Actually, if you're even just a little off to the side of it, gave me a lesson on here. Yes.
Thank you, Grand Marshal Steve Crandall. Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem, led by Delaney O'Hare, and the invocation by Reverend Lori DeMott.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's bow our heads. We are gathered here to honor the work of these graduates and bless them as they enter into a new phase of their lives. For some, this day feels as if it has come upon them too quickly. It feels like such a short time ago they met the friends who now they will be leaving. For others, this day feels as if it has been a long time in the making, requiring perseverance through difficult days. But whether the years have flown by or whether they have been marked by challenges and detours, every graduate today knows that they would not be here without the help of the many loved ones who have been with them through it all. When they walk across this stage, they will be accompanied by the hearts of those who have made this day possible. And so on their behalf, I would like to take this moment to offer thanks. We give thanks for faculty who taught them and challenged them. We give thanks for friends who supported them, who made the rough times bearable and the good times full of joy. We give thanks for their families who dreamed of this day for them and believed that they could achieve that dream. And we give thanks for loved ones gone, who would be so filled with pride to see them today and who are here in spirit with them. And on behalf of those families, friends, faculty, and staff, we ask that these graduates be blessed in the years ahead as they have been abundantly blessed in their time here at Alfred University. Amen.
Mr. President, the convocation is assembled.
Thank you, Dean Crandall. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to first introduce the members of our Board of Trustees that have been with us the last several days for meetings, to both recognize and thank them for all they do for our university. We'll ask them to stand and then hold your applause until they're all standing, and then we can roundly thank them with our applause. Dr. Jean Bernstein, Dr. Joe Cesarano, Carolyn Clark, Michele Cohen, Greg Connors, the chair of our board, Dr. John Edmond, Terry Galanis Jr., Fred George, Jay Haberland, Dr. Christine Heckel, Steve Hine, Tom Hinman, James Jordan, Kristen Klaben, Chris Culp, Kevin Livingston, Jeff Maurer, Bob McCumsey, Bob Meltzer, Vicki Meyer, Terry Mikalski, Craig Peretz, Kathleen Richardson, and Eric Zuckerman. Please join me in thanking them. Provost Rick Stevens, our Chief Academic Officer, will now assume the responsibility of Master of Ceremonies for the balance of our commencement exercise.
Thank you, President Zupan. Welcome to Commencement. This commencement celebrates Alfred University's 182nd year of educational service and leadership. Think about that for just a second. 182 years. Students graduating today, demographics will tell us 50% will actually see the year 2100. It's an amazing thing that's happening here. Let me begin with a few housekeeping details. It takes a little bit to manage all of this here. There are emergency exits at the front and in the back. Please make sure that you're aware of those. There is medical emergency assistance available. There is an ambulance out at the back of the gymnasium. Probably some of the more important parts of our instructions. First of all, this is a family celebration. So it's okay to cheer and clap and make noise for those that you're here celebrating. And when the little ones get a little tired of it and a little cranky, the rest of you just chill out, okay? They're part of it. It's also okay to come and take pictures, but we need no flying elbows, knees, drop kicks. Just please be kind of patient. If your student, your family member is number 80 on the list, don't come up at the very beginning. Just sort of wait a little bit. Finally, I want to recognize especially Mr. Larry Casey, our registrar, who will pronounce without error, forever I think has been the case, the names of our graduates. I also want to thank Assistant Registrar Tammy Jerza-Williams, Carol Slisky, and Tracy Squires, who are also helping on stage. And now to the ceremony. We will begin with the conferment of honorary degrees. Will Dr. Gerard Edizel please escort Michele Cohen to center stage?
President Zupan, graduates and guests, nearly 20 years ago, in August 1999, Adam Cohen arrived at Alfred University to enroll in the School of Art and Design. He brought with him his mother, Michele, and we are forever grateful he did. Michele has been exceedingly generous with her time serving as a member of the Alfred University Board of Trustees since 2001, and has been extraordinary in her dedication to the university. She has been chair of the Student Affairs Committee of the Board of Trustees since 2006. And in her nearly 12 years in that role, she has solidified the committee's role as in overseeing the health and safety, student development, and career outcomes of Alfred University students. Regardless of how serious the issues focused on by the committee may be, Michele makes a special effort at each and every meeting to celebrate student achievements and activities on campus so that trustees are never disconnected from the joys of everyday college life. Michele is highly informed of student life issues and has taken the time to educate herself and others on areas including Title IX, safety on college campuses, athletics, student activities, and so much more, particularly career services and opportunities for applied experiential learning. From her deep understanding of those issues, particularly the value of applied and experiential learning opportunities, came her decision to make a gift that provides the seed money for our APEX program that, going forward, will give all Alfred University students funding that will make an applied or experiential learning possible. It will become a hallmark of an Alfred University education that will provide the resources to make it possible for our students to study abroad, complete an internship, undertake a research project, or present an amazing capstone project. It is thanks to Michele and Marty Cohen's gift that the APEX program will become possible. The Cohens have been equally supportive of the arts at Alfred. This comes as no surprise because the arts are clearly one of Michele's passions. Their gifts have created the Cohen Studio for our first-year foundations program, the Cohen Gallery with its emphasis on showing alumni work, and the Cohen Apartments for visiting artists and scholars. And this year, they created the first ever endowed deanship at Alfred University at the School of Art and Design. The Alfred Museum of Ceramic Art enjoys their support as well. Collectively, their gifts have enhanced the prominence of arts at Alfred. For these reasons, President Zupan, I'm honored to present Michele R. Cohen for conferral of the degree Doctor of Arts, honoris causa, in recognition of her dedication to improving student life and her remarkable support for the arts at Alfred University.
Thank you, Dean Edezel. Michele Cohen, Dr. Cohen, in recognition of these accomplishments and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you Doctor of Arts honoris causa with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining, and in token whereof I cause you to be vested with the hood of the degree and instruct that your status be charged in the membership roll of the Alfred University Alumni Association. Congratulations, Dr. Cohen.
President Zupan, fellow trustees, Dr. Mcpherson, Alfred faculty and staff, families, friends, and graduates, thank you for this honor. As you may have heard or not, I studied to be a nursery school teacher. And I loved reading to my class. When I thought about what I was going to say today, I was lucky enough to find a wonderful book that really told the story of what I wanted to say. And I'd like to share some of it with you. What Do You Do with a Chance? Written by Kobe Yamada. One day I got a chance. It just seemed to show up. What do you do with a chance, I wondered. It fluttered around me. It brushed up against me. It circled me as if it wanted to grab me. I started to reach for it, but I was unsure and pulled back. And so it flew away. I thought about it a lot. I wished I had taken the chance. I realized I had wanted it, but I didn't know if I had the courage. When another chance came around, I wasn't sure, but I decided to try. I went to reach for it, but missed and fell. I was embarrassed. I felt foolish. It seemed like everybody was looking at me. I decided I never wanted to feel that way again. So after that, whenever a chance came along, I ignored it. And the more I ignored them, the less they came around. Until one day I noticed that I hadn't seen a chance in quite a while. I started to worry. What if I don't get another chance? I still wanted to take one, but I was afraid, and I wasn't sure if I would ever be brave enough. Then I thought, maybe I don't have to be brave all the time. Maybe I just need to be brave for a little while at the right time. I promised myself that if I ever got another chance, I wasn't going to hold back. I was going to be ready. Then one day, I saw something shining far off in the distance. Could this be my chance? I didn't know how to explain it, but the second I let go of my fears, I was full of excitement. It wasn't that I was no longer afraid, but now my excitement was bigger than my fear. By this time, I was ready. As it came by, I reached out and grabbed it. I held on with all of my might. I now see that when I hold back, I miss out. There's just so much I want to do, see, and discover. So what do you do with a chance? You take it, because it might just be the start of something incredible. You all took a chance when you came to Alfred, and as with the knowledge and skills you have gained, many more opportunities will come your way. Through my son, I began to understand the mission of the university and to see firsthand how passionate and supportive the faculty are. Adam graduated from Alfred many years ago, but I'm still here, having made wonderful friends and colleagues. I'm proud to be part of a board that has given so generously to enhance the student experience and support the growth of the university. It is a privilege to be part of the Alfred community. The most wonderful chance I grabbed was to marry my husband, Marty. For over 45 years, he has been a willing and generous partner in all we have done at Alfred and elsewhere. So you may not remember the speeches from your graduation today. I know that I will remember your graduation and this moment always. I am honored to share a stage with you. Congratulations on your graduation. I wish you the best of luck as you pursue the many chances that come along. Take them, even if they're difficult or scary. Hold on to them. Don't look back, and enjoy the incredible. Thank you.
Mr. President, graduates and guests, colorblindness is an affliction which affects more than 300 million people in the world today. 1 in every 12 men and 1 in every 200 women cannot differentiate between colors which the rest of us take for granted. There's an old joke about a BBC sports announcer who said, "For those of you watching in black and white, Manchester United are playing in red." But color blindness, or more technically known as color vision deficiency, is no laughing matter. It is more than an inconvenience. It affects children's progress in school, workers' safety in factories, and safety on our roads when drivers cannot tell the difference between red and green. It also deprives people of simple yet significant pleasures, such as seeing the color of their children's eyes. Over the past couple of years, network news, major newspapers, and social media have all been enthralled by glasses that allow people born with color blindness to experience the richness of colors that as others have not been able to enjoy. Almost daily, it seems, there are news stories and videos about people who discover what it is to see colors for the first time. Behind those glasses, produced by EnChroma Incorporated, is an Alfred alumnus. Don Mcpherson, who received his master's and PhD degrees in glass science from Alfred University, is co-inventor of the glasses, as well as co-founder and chief science officer at the company who makes them. The impact of his discovery is enormous, with, as we have said, more than 300 million people worldwide suffering from some form of color vision deficiency. Don Mcpherson will tell you that it was serendipity that led to his discovery of glasses that color the world. How Don came to Alfred in the first place is certainly serendipitous. As an undergraduate at Ohio University in Athens, studying mathematics, astronomy, and art, he had become fascinated with glassblowing. Using, as it turns out, an out-of-date Barron's Guide, he determined to pursue an MFA in glass at Alfred University. He arrived in Alfred to discover that the MFA program had been put in abeyance. But talking to an art and design faculty member who noted that there was a graduate program in glass science in the engineering division and suggested that he talk to their division chair. Heeding perhaps Shakespeare's observations about tides in the affairs of men, he did, was accepted with a full scholarship based on his unusual background, the Alfred way. The rest, as they say, is history. Having completed his master's degree, he stayed on for a PhD, which he received in 1988. For those of you with smartphones, that's 30 years ago. Don will tell you that it was the guidance of his Alfred University professors and mentors who encouraged him to solve problems by thinking differently that allowed him to see solutions in a new way. Alfred gave him the freedom to pursue ideas outside his immediate research project. One definition of genius is, quote, a person who displays exceptional intellectual ability, creative productivity, universality in genres or originality, typically to a degree that is associated with the achievement of new advances in the domain of knowledge, unquote. Don Mcpherson clearly fits that description. Because of his contributions to engineering and to making a difference to humanity, I am honored, Mr. President, to present Don Mcpherson for the conferral of the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in recognition of his vision that led to the development of a new product that allows so many people to see the world in its full richness of color.
Dean Cormack. Thank you, Dean Cormack. Don Mcpherson, in recognition of your accomplishments and by virtue of the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I confer upon you Doctor of Science, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining, and in token whereof, I cause you to be vested with the hood of the degree and instruct that your status be charged in the membership roll of our university's Alumni Association. Congratulations, Dr. Mcpherson. The discovery was accidental, as many in life are. Röntgen, when he discovered the X-ray, was running a different experiment and was initially pissed off that the screen kept glowing in his laboratory and took curiosity to figure out what he'd stumbled into. The same with the discovery of penicillin, or Pyrex. But Don's curious mind, what he had happened onto, he'd been working on glasses to help surgeons see better. And initially it was kind of curious that the surgeons would be stealing these glasses at a pretty quick pace. And then one day off to play ultimate frisbee with a friend, the friend put on the glasses that Don carried with him in the car and said to Don, "Dude, I can see the cones." The friend was colorblind and had never seen the color orange before. But Don's curiosity then led to the science behind the glasses, and now more recently into the psychology, including having adults play with Legos to discover more about the neuroscience and the psychology that will increase the impact of his invention. We're very grateful to have Don here with us today to be our commencement speaker. The colors he's brought to life, and especially the way people can now see purple and gold in a more brightly emblazoned fashion around the globe. So without further ado, Dr. Mcpherson is our commencement speaker.
Greetings. Greetings. This is quite an honor. I have to kind of settle myself down. I'm vibrating at a pretty high frequency right now. When I told my wife, Ellie, that I was going to receive this honorary doctorate, she asked me if I had a choice as to what discipline it would be awarded in. And I said, well, let me think. I know they give an MFA as an advanced degree and doctorate in glass science and ceramic engineering, and I believe in psychology. And she said, oh, you should get one in psychology. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, that would be pretty cool. But my sense is that an honorary degree is more like being handed the keys to the city, or maybe $1 million check that's really huge. And so it doesn't really have much value per se, but it's invaluable. So I had my reasons to probably decline doing this, as Mark pointed out, and Alistair. I'm the chief scientist of a company in Berkeley, California. We're growing extremely rapidly, and there's just really too much to take care of right now. And I'm constantly being distracted by new pieces of information that we learn from people who are color deficient. And it's just an overwhelming amount of information. However, this is probably the greatest honor of my life. And they've been coming fast and furious lately, but this one's definitely the tops. And so without hesitation, I agreed to do this after conferring with my wife. And part of it was that I really deeply believe in President Zupan's vision for this university. It's quite amazing. He wants to really promote Alfred into the top university in the world, and I think he can do it. And part of it is just he has an amazing passion for what he does, and he believes in the students, and he believes in the faculty, which is really key. And also, I've met him a number of times. He's come to San Francisco, and I've come here once before. And if you spend any time with him, you know he conveys to you a sense that he has great confidence in you. And I figured if he has that much confidence in me, I can probably come here and do this. Ironically, the first time I ever gave a talk professionally was here at Alfred at the International Congress on Glass and Planetary Systems, or something like that. And I gave my talk, and my dad was in the audience. And I did fine, except there was somebody in the audience had the audacity to ask me a question. I think it was during the question and answer period, and I just stood there. I mean, he could have asked me my middle name. And it was the first and last time I ever froze on stage. Now I do primarily most of my company's PR. They wheel me out, and I talk. And I've done enough media training that I know how to not fall apart. So I hope it works tonight. In preparation for this address, I spent a lot of time bouncing ideas off my wife, Ellie. And she had really good suggestions. I mean, she's an exceptional intellect. And some of her ideas are way better than mine. And I started thinking, you know, she should probably give this commencement address. And I'll tell you why. Let me compare and contrast. She was born, well, first of all, she's the only person I've ever met who was born on Standing Rock Indian Reservation in North Dakota. Her parents were doctors working with American Indian Services. Those stories alone are entertaining. But she grew up in a lot of adversity. She grew up in the South after that. And she had to sacrifice quite a bit during her 20s and 30s to keep her family afloat. And she has a diversity of knowledge that is staggering. She's really versed in so many things I know nothing about. And in spite of all of her adversity, she's a very positive person, and she's my social wing of my existence. She's the one who will introduce herself to people and engage us in interesting things. So, but here I am instead. This is the way it goes. Well, to the business at hand, first of all, let me say congratulations. I went through this studying thing to get a degree, and I will just say congratulations. I know that it's a lot of work, and I want to particularly extend congratulations to the master's and doctorate students, because that's yet again above and beyond, and you probably have to spend 6 or 8 years here to accomplish that. So congratulations to all of you. I went through this process, the commencement process, once, at least once. Well, I went through it once, but I have 2 degrees. So to do that, I had to not attend one of these, and it was my doctoral degree. And my advisor, Dr. Pai, was not pleased. He was not pleased at all. And he probably didn't like the fact that I was skipping out of it to go on a bicycle trip across Europe. But in defense of my decision, I can only say that I had spent 8 years here. And you all know what the winters are like. So my goal after getting my degree, successfully defending my thesis, was to simply get out of here. I mean, it was really like my reptilian brain was like, go. And I did. But in hindsight, I should have stayed and represented. He was my advisor, the best teacher I ever had, and I should have been up here to represent for him. And I feel like now, 30 years later, I'm making amends. But I should point out that my bicycle trip in Europe was not all fun and games. I presented a paper in Würzburg, Germany. I interviewed for a job in Germany and also in Switzerland. I didn't take any of those. I ended up going to New Zealand and doing a postdoc there instead. Completely random almost. As I mentioned, the winters here can be kind of brutal. You know, I feel like the weather seems to be wandering around this time of year looking for Canada, and I wish it would find it. The graduation that I did attend was for my master's, and it was about this time of year, and there were snow flurries. So I've now landed permanently in California, and I must admit, though, there are certain things I miss about Alfred that we haven't yet figured out how to imitate or import, and one of them is the perfect summer. And unfortunately, a lot of students don't get to experience that. They finish up and skip out. But the summers here are amazing. They're the best I've ever experienced any place. And I came to this conclusion that what was going on in my brain was some neuronal section of my brain had figured out that this is what Alfred is all about, and it would forget about the winter. It would completely forget that there had just been the most brutal 6 months, and that it was surely going to come again. And that's why I kept coming back year after year, because I forgot about the winter. But this place is magical. There was one of my favorite artists is a early 20th century artist from Buffalo, New York, named Charles Birchfield, and he painted synesthetically. He captured the sense of sound in his paintings, and I would look at these paintings, and it always awakened in me the smell of petrichor and jasmine, the smell of coming rain, and that's what this place reminded me of. It was always just lush and alive in the summer. But the first year I was here, it was in October, and I said to a professor, I said, wow, it's really cold. And he said, oh, the cold will make the trees turn brilliant colors, and then everything will just be these torches of beautiful color. And he was right. For about 4 days, it was like that, and then the rains came. And they lasted just long enough until that last leaf fell. And then it stayed that way for the entire winter. But, you know, that sort of conditions cause you to go inside and you study, right? Or you shoot pool. So, speaking of pool, that's where I spent a lot of my time in Refuge. We either went to dance parties, or we had dinner parties, or we played pool when we weren't working in the lab. And one of my fellow graduate students, who I really kind of idealized when I thought about it later, was this student from India named Innocent Joseph. And there was something about this man. He was really tall and thin, and he dressed impeccably. And he had a cool about him. And it's not the cool that you learn from looking at magazines. It was like him. And the closest thing I could think to that would be the American equivalent would be like Clint Eastwood, if Clint Eastwood was wickedly brilliant. Then one night we were playing pool at Alex's, and he had run the entire table. And we were playing against some really wasted ag tech guys. And so Innocent's left with a cue ball and an entire sea of balls, and the 8 balls over here next to the pocket, and he calls a 4-bank shot, and he gets it. He drops the ball into the corner pocket, and the ag tech guy went crazy and confronted him and accused him of witchcraft. And Innocent just sat there with his cue, chalking it, and just looked at the guy with his cigarette and smoke coming up. And it was the Innocent equivalent of, do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? Anyways, that one ended okay. I returned to Alex's 2 years ago because I was here for a Fiat Lux award dinner. And we went there with some friends. Some of them I'd known before, like Wayne Higbee. I'd known him from dance parties, and the guy could really dance, trust me. And he could really dress, and he still dresses impeccably. But we went there, and one of the things that struck me was that it hadn't changed. I mean, the whole town hasn't changed, except for the new buildings. But Alex's was exactly the same. And the bartender, Stan, was the bartender when I was here 30 years ago. And he has not changed one bit. He looks exactly the same. So I'm thinking, like, what am I doing? You know? Whatever. It's amazing. Seriously, he looks the same. We spent a lot of time having dinner parties because we had this very international lab. There was Tunisian, Chinese, Korean, Indian, Dutch, and then, you know, a couple of people like me. Usually I would have these big dinners at a house that we stayed out on Hamilton Hill, and there'd be these big Indian dinners, and I would be given some task like, here, cook these roti. So one day I was doing that, and I was a pack of maybe 100, and I just whipped through them. Nobody was paying attention to me, and I made this pile of roti about this big for a meal for 6 people. And Indra Chakraborty just hurled humorous insults at me the entire dinner. I also lived for a while with a Tunisian student, Nassif Belkaria, and he taught me how to make couscous. And the way he made it, I've never seen anybody else do this, ended up coating the entire inside of my oven with grain, which never came out. I scrubbed and scrubbed, and I'm convinced that that oven is still here in a rental apartment at 35 South Main Street, and there's couscous in that oven. Okay, one more cathartic mention of cold weather, and then I'll stop. I was a strict vegetarian during the time I was here, but in spite of that, I attended Hot Dog Day, like I'm sure all of you did. And honestly, it's just a blur to me, except for one thing, and that was the fact that Dr. LaCourse was sitting on a collapsible seat above the dunk tank. You know, it's one of those things where you throw balls, and you know, he was in a bathing suit, and it's all pretty ordinary so far, except for that I could see his breath, because it was the middle of April and it was freezing. And I was wearing like a heavy coat, and I was cold, and here's Dr. LaCourse up there, like this, waiting for the balls. And I was just looking at him thinking, oh my, wow, you have to be really tough to live in this town. You have to go through this. It's not enough to just teach. Dr. LaCourse is one of the great minds teaching here. He's still teaching here. And I had a chance to meet some of the really top people. I would call them my mentors. One was Dr. Frechette. And Dr. Frechette was an awesome human being, although the first time I met him, it wasn't so pleasant. I was sitting in his introductory crystallography class, and I was in the front, and I was kind of writing in my notebook, trying to catch up, figure out all this engineering stuff. And he was railing at some guy named Dan, and he was just going on and on and on about him. And he had reduced it to the point where he wanted him to identify whether the shape on the board was a square or a circle. Then I realized he's standing in front of me, and I look up, and I went, yes. He said, Dan? I said, no, my name's Don. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then he went back to class and taught. That's how we started our friendship. But I would spend long hours in his office just talking with him about science. He'd be surrounded by all of his books. And sometimes we'd hang out in his laboratory, which was a fractography laboratory, and there'd be these half-assembled carboys and wine jugs and bottles sitting around with fracture markings on them. And it was just the coolest foreign thing to me. And I thought, this guy would have made a great Egyptologist. I just had this sense that he just really liked breaking things down and understanding them and having like these displays. And I'm very much like that. So I think he had a great influence on me. Another one of my great teachers was Dr. Varner. And Dr. Varner, in his class, I've looked at them, my notes, and they're just meticulous. They're like works of art with drawings and just formulas. And my rationale was, he's up at the board doing all this. I might as well write it down, right? I mean, he's spending all this effort, fill a board from left to right, start in the next one. And then there was Dr. Varshnea, who came to Alfred when I was here, and taught a course on glass, viscous properties of glass, flow. And he was also meticulous but more freewheeling. And there was one moment in class when he introduced this number called the Deborah Number, which has to do with flow in glass. And he said, does anybody know what that means? And I was in the front of class, and without really even looking up, I just said out loud, I said, and even the mountains shall flow before God. And I don't remember where I'd heard that from, but associated with this Egyptian goddess Deborah. And he looked at me like, who the heck are you? So we became friends at that point. In addition to these amazing professors, I also got to, there was a stream of visiting scholars who came through that gave amazing talks. I mean, this place is just incredible. And I also got to travel to India, all thanks to my mentor and Professor Dr. David Pai, who's sitting here, who honestly was the best teacher I ever had. He's really good, or when he was teaching, at figuring out what somebody was able to do. And he would give you a thesis topic based on that and let you run with it. He never interfered, he just let you go. And that's what I needed. I needed somebody to trust me to just go. So as I mentioned, I lived here 8 years, and after about 7 years, I got, I guess what you call the 7-year itch or something, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. So I'd been working on a thesis, and I had already determined, I was watching students come and go, and some would just be like, bam, in and out. And those were sort of like the routine doctoral thesis, and I thought, I can't really do that. I need to do something really unusual. Because my master's thesis had been a little bit lightweight. And so I talked to Dr. Pai, proposed something, some weird observation I'd seen in a plasma, and he said, yeah, let's do that. And what attracted me to it was that it was sort of indecipherable. And I had already made the conclusion that that was one way to get through the process, was to make something that even the professors didn't understand. And one of the things about the thesis was that it was turbulent, it was chaotic, and it was flow. And there was all these things about it that attracted me, and also it was full of dimensionless numbers. And there was something really, I'm a math major by training, and there's something really attractive about this concept of a number that doesn't have any dimension to it. So there were these, you know, the Nusselt, Prandtl, Reynolds, Biot, Fresnel, Mach, Schmidt, and I loved them. And then I began to really like them, like really like dimensionless numbers. And I started thinking, well, maybe I should come up with my own dimensionless number, the Mcpherson number. That's how I was in graduate school. There was no boundaries. But then I started thinking about it, and I realized, you know what? All the good ones have already been taken. And besides which, there's a rule in dimensionless numbers, or so it seems, that like with Silicon Valley companies, you want to have 1 or 2 syllables, right? Like Google, Facebook, Salesforce, Twitter, Tinder. And so my trisyllabic surname presented a problem. So I played around a lot when I was here, and I still do. My business partner, Andy Schmieder, and I work these grueling hours, but when midnight rolls around, we whip out the rubber bands. And I'm not talking about the little ones you get at the stationery store. These were industrial rubber bands that were just really long and fat, and we would shoot them like 50 yards at like styrofoam heads across the lab. That was our idea of relaxing. But then we would get back to work. And so the question is, like, is it necessary to play when you're supposed to be working? Like, everyone does it, but are you really supposed to? And I think that the answer is yes, because this is how I've always approached science, that there's 2 ways to get there. You can go straight, but it turns out it's an illusion. It actually takes you much longer. It's better to go this way, and then maybe go that way. And I think you need these breaks to allow you to like reorient and figure out where you are. So you have 2 choices. Either you can plod along to get someplace, or you can dance. And I think that all great problem solving is a dance that requires fancy footwork. You like that? Okay. I'm going to skip forward to the serious part. I'm sorry I set you up. Okay. This is a quote. "The cradle rocks above an abyss, And common sense tells us that our existence is but a brief crack of light between two eternities of darkness. And to my ear, that rings true. Poetry capturing something beyond evidence. And it's a really good line. And it's actually the first line of a book, Speak Memory, by Vladimir Nabokov, who's one of my favorite writers. And he always has great first lines, and I remember so many of them. I remember them more quickly than I do my address, honestly. And this is probably it's a really bleak outlook, but he witnessed a lot of ugliness in the world. This and that manifested idea wreaking havoc across Europe. And I've been thinking about that because I feel like, we, the collective we in this room, could fall into that if we're not careful, into a bleakness of outlook. Because, well, we have instant disaster 24/7 in the news, and although the fossil record hasn't been laid down yet, it's pretty clear that we're entering the Anthropocene. So, if our lives is truly but a brief crack of light between two eternities of darkness, what can we possibly hope to accomplish in such a short moment? So recently I heard Ralph Nader speaking at Sonoma State University, and he said something that I thought was brilliant. He said basically what we all expect is that in any given situation, there'll be somebody who will step up and do it, right? They'll take on Goliath. They'll defend the defenseless, work with little or no pay, long hours, and basically be selfless in the name of something bigger. And then Nader asked something that was had me really thinking quite a bit about it, which is, what would it take to have 100 million people step up? Wouldn't that be a game changer? And what are the alternatives to stepping up? Well, you could wait for your 15 minutes of fame in the limelight, which is, in my opinion, a completely hollow achievement. And for what I've seen, the people who manage to stay in the limelight longer than 15 minutes probably shouldn't. So one of the reasons I agreed to come here is I feel like Alfred has the potential. It's intimate enough. It's got great minds. The students who come here and go through it, the people I've met as alumni, are just incredibly brilliant. They're not playing some huge role change in the world. They're behind the scenes and they're doing really good stuff. And I think this university has a chance to generate a large number of people who really deeply care about the planet, care about each other, and want to be part of a change that will really make a difference. Finally, I think that's what we're ready for. So you all know, you can't really change things if you're too comfortable, right? I mean, that's not the whole basis of Darwinian evolution. Is you need to step outside the comfort zone in order to make a change, right? You have to evolve. If you want to look it up, the history of the evolution of what we think of as the simple eye is kind of staggering, because there was a point where nothing had eyeballs. And things basically relied on other senses to tell where prey and predator were, and then one of the two started developing perception, visual perception, and then it was a race. Because if you didn't have an eye and the other guy had an eye, you were out of the picture. You were extinct. And so this whole process took 250,000 years to develop what we think of now as the modern eye, simple eye, which is pretty extraordinary. So anything is possible if you're compelled to do it. So when I was at Alfred, I met this guy who was a professor, visiting professor. He was the top scientist at Corning. His name was Donald Stuckey. And actually, he was mentioned last year by George Beale, who was the commencement speaker from Alfred, and Stuckey was Beale's mentor. And I met him, he was here, so I spent time talking to him, and I found him to be one of the most humble human beings I'd ever met. I had no idea all the things that he had attached to his name as inventions. And he died in 2014 at the age of 99. And there's a really curious quote from his son in the New York Times that upon graduating from MIT, Stuckey had two choices. He got two job offers. One was from Nabisco, and one was from this glass company in upstate New York. And all he knew is he didn't want to bake bread. Right? I think that's like a beautiful story. So I had started imagining Donald Stuckey growing up in Nebraska as a kid, wandering across fields well past dark, realizing that he had to get home for dinner because he had wandered too far off in exploration. And I think that that's what you need to do if you want to make a change. You have to be willing to stay out after dark and wander. So I have a fantastic job, as Mark and Alistair pointed out. I get to play around in my laboratory a lot, doing psychophysics testing on people who are colorblind. And a majority of the testing modalities are really outdated. They're over 100 years old. And I've started to play with Legos. And because one of the reasons I started thinking about this is like, well, who's afraid of Legos, right? I mean, you all went through 4 years of testing. Do you like tests? Well, adults do not like to be tested, especially if they're colorblind. They're willing to do it, but they really don't want to. So I got this idea to start doing something called, well, it's very simple. It's like give you a pile of Legos and you put them into piles of common color. It's like a sorting task. And it turns out that adults are really good at this, and you can glean a lot of information. How long does it take them? How accurate, how precise, etc. So it's not all been fun and games because, you know, I had to start the business someplace and I needed money. And as Mark mentioned, or I'm sorry, President Zupan mentioned, I started off making laser safety eyewear. So I went to Silicon Valley to a laser company and I made a pitch for money to make them eyewear. Too long? Okay. So I need to explain the title. Turning Alfred's colors, turning purple and gold into blue and yellow. So to somebody who's colorblind, purple looks blue. It looks like a really dark blue. And gold looks like a muddy yellow-brown. And the reason for this is that they don't have a very good perception of red. So when they put on the eyewear, you get something you might consider like a correction to the information that's being processed because there's nothing wrong with what's going on in their brains. And if you've seen any of these videos, they're super emotional because for the first time, those neural mechanisms are working and they get this flood of information which can be exhilarating. So it's truly the doors of color perception swinging open for the first time. So, look, you're all graduating and you're like, well, I don't know what's coming down the road, right? And it's really hard to look over the horizon. But I'll give you some advice from J.K. Rowling's Albus Dumbledore, which he said to Harry Potter. He said, "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." And I think that's sometimes these choices just seem to happen. I mean, that's been my story. I've never had anything really planned out. It just seems to happen. And this is where I come to my end. But I'd like to share with you one last observation. And it's that I believe we can glide through life and have the good fortune to will a path in front of us. And like the protagonist in Crocker Johnson's Harold and His Purple Crayon, which was my favorite book when I was 5 years old. And I still plan to cite this at some point in a scientific paper. Okay, in this book, Harold has a purple crayon and he draws his reality in front of him as he goes along. He solves problems literally of his own creation. Harold finds himself free falling through the air. No problem. Harold draws an umbrella. Harold sees himself falling into the water which he drew. He makes a boat and climbs in. Harold gets roared at by a lion. No fear. He just draws some bars and contains it. Being able to speak to you about my Alfred experience and to hopefully inspire you, the best and the brightest, to go out and do something amazing in the world has been one of the honors of my life. Thank you for your attention. I hope it was somewhat enjoyable.
You do look a lot more vivid. Don mentioned giving his first talk here in the fear of public speaking. It's the #1 fear in the U.S. Jay Leno once quipped that that means at a funeral, most of us would rather be the person in the coffin than the person giving the oration in honor of the deceased. I'd like to next introduce Dr. Jay Serio, the Dean of Graduate and External Programs.
Mr. President, will the faculty responsible for the doctoral programs in ceramics, glass science, and material science and engineering please stand? President Zupan, standing before you are the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for a conferment of degree. Would the candidate and your advisor please come forward to the stage for us to present you with the hood of your degree? The remaining faculty may be seated.
In recognition of these accomplishments and by virtue of the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you Peter Karl Metz and Ruhil Dungul, Doctor of Philosophy, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. In token whereof, I cause you to be vested with the hood of the degree, and I hand you this diploma. Congratulations, Dr. Peter Karl Metz. Congratulations, Dr. Ruhil Dungul.
Mr. President, will the faculty responsible for the doctoral program in school psychology and the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Psychology please stand? Mr. President, standing before you are the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Psychology. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for conferment of the degree. Would the candidate and your advisor please come forward to the stage for us to present you with the hood of your degree. The remaining faculty may be seated.
In recognition of your accomplishments and by virtue of the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you Doctor of Psychology with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. In token whereof, I cause you to be vested with the hood of the degree, and I hand you this diploma. Congratulations first, Dr. Jacqueline Mary Mistretta. Congratulations, Dr. Liz Shea. Congratulations. Dr. Brian South. Congratulations. Dr. Courtney Zentz.
Will the candidates and faculty in the Master of Fine Art degree programs, the terminal degree, and their field of study please stand? Mr. President, standing before you are the candidates for Master of Fine Arts degree. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for conferment of degree. The faculty may be seated.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Alfred University, and upon recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the Master of Fine Arts degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Graduates, please come forward to the platform to receive your diplomas and allow me the opportunity to congratulate you.
Receiving the degree Master of Fine Arts in Ceramic Art, Sujin Choi. Grant Michael Landreth. Wanying Liang. Maxwell Eric Mittman. Lisa Christian Nelson. Brian Matthew Westrick. Mara Joanne Wright. In Electronic Integrated Arts, Yu Yuan Gong. Matthew Grinnell Underwood. Jai-Hee Huang. In Sculpture Dimensional Studies, Skylar T. Dawson. Marina Friedman. Sydney Morgan Gose. Hillary Elizabeth Heckard. Ashley Ann Kerr.
Will the candidates and faculty in the master's degree programs please stand as your degree programs are read and remain standing. Master of Science, Master of Arts, and Master of Science in Education, Master of Business Administration. Mr. President, standing before you are the candidates for master's degrees. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for conferment of your degree.
Thank you, Dean Serio. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Alfred University, and upon recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the master's degree to which you are entitled as listed in the commencement program, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Would the graduates please keep coming forward to the platform to receive your diplomas, and allow me the opportunity to congratulate you.
Receiving the degree Master of Arts in School Psychology, Patrick Damon Bouge. Ashley Renee Shermack. Allison Marie Church. Nicole Teresa Clark. Courtney Sue Coots. Christopher Scott Herbst. Brianna Mae Nelson. Olivia Morgan Sunzeri. Catherine Elizabeth Winterburn. Alicia Ann Zielinski. The degree Master of Science in Education in College Student Development, Anthony Charles Davis Crowder. Jacob S. Marcy. Cassandra Grace McCarn. Nadine D. Shardlow. Alyssa Agnes Waller. In Counseling, Dominique Lilith Liu. Charmaine Simone Parks. Seth John Toman. In Mental Health Counseling, Bianca Elizabeth Barber. Christina Erna Bear. Jennifer Maria Cox. Anna Marie Lucille Incorvia. John A. Laprade. Sarah Michelle Van Skyver. Emma Wilson. In Literacy Education, Roxanne Rolston. The degree Master of Business Administration in Accounting, Victor Manuel Alvarez. Gabrielle Leanne Covert. Tyler O. Houghton-Bino. Omar Salah Mohammed. Jordan Andre Rufus. Umar Sumahora. In Business Administration, Vera Abu Samra. Caitlin Jeanette Adams. Kia Marie Barrow. Domali Ann Chen. Nicholas Morgan Davies. Kristen Farina. Kyle Evan Gallo. Sarah Marie Haight. Seiji Sekau Hinton. Terrell Germain Marshburn. Siobhan Noble. Jasmine June Pacini. Andrew Richard Rogacki. Gilbert Jonah Safley. Nicole Rose Santa Maria. Supraswal Shrestha. John Angelo Vitali.
And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Norm Pollard, Dean of Students.
Good morning, and congratulations to those who are graduating today and to the parents and friends and family who have joined us. It's my distinct honor to introduce this year's Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Recipients. The Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Awards have been established to honor Marlon Miller, class of 1954, and one of Alfred University's most generous supporters. Marlon Miller is a proven leader, as demonstrated by the success of Aero International Incorporated. He's been a member of Alfred University's Board of Trustees since 1972. Each year during honors convocation and at commencement, the Alfred University Alumni Association recognizes 2 graduating seniors with the Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Awards. These prestigious awards are the university's recognition for the highest all-around accomplishment. The awards are given to 2 individuals from the senior class who have contributed most to the life of the university and has built uncompromised reputation in the following areas. Nominees must have a minimum GPA of 3.2 and have attended Alfred University for a minimum of 4 semesters. The recipient will be fully engaged in the co-curricular life at Alfred University. The student must demonstrate involvement with recognized organizations and activities, specifically in the area of leadership and advancement of the organization's mission. Such involvement must have contributed to increasing quality of life for the campus community with a firm commitment and dedication. And lastly, each recipient will possess and have demonstrated high moral character while at Alfred University, such as integrity, honesty, civility, personal vitality, generosity, and concern for others. Our first recipient is Logan G. Logan is from Dansville, New York area, and even though she was not initially sold on the idea of attending Alfred, the moment she stepped foot on campus, she knew this was the place for her. In her time here, she has epitomized the true spirit of a Saxon. Not only did she double major in English and Communication Studies, she also minored in Women and Gender Studies. Logan is a member of Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society for Liberal Arts and Sciences, Sigma Tau Delta International English Honor Society, Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society, and Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Honor Society. Logan has been on the Dean's List every semester and will graduate with honors in English and Communications. A university scholar, she is a member of the Alfred University Honors Program. She is an active writer, receiving the Gifford Hopkins Writing Prize in 2017. She has been the editor-in-chief of the Fiat Lux student newspaper since 2016 and past recipient of the Sharon Hoover Fiat Lux Fund Award, given each year to the student who is showed to be involved in activities that enrich, promote, and sustain the vision and independent student-run newspaper. No fake news in her paper. Logan also found time to be Student Senate Vice President and a 3-year peer leader for the College of Liberal Arts first-year experience program. The future is very bright for Logan as she is deciding which of many paths to take. I give you Logan G.
Good morning, everyone. Before getting into my speech, I need to take a moment to recognize what an honor it is to be standing here and addressing all of you. If anyone had told me 4 years ago that I would be speaking at my own commencement, I'd most likely have laughed and said no way. But here we are, and here I am. I would like to thank a few individuals who have been with me throughout this entire ride. First, thank you, Professor Susan Morehouse, who taught me that I always need to be honest with myself, even when it's hard, and that dogs and chocolate make everything better. Next, thank you to Dr. Robin Goodman, who always reminds me that even in the worst of situations, being kind counts, and that anything is possible with a bit of chutzpah. Both of you have played such a big part in my becoming the individual that I am today, and for that I cannot thank you enough. Next, I need to thank my mother and father, without whom I literally would not be here today. But really, I am so thankful that I get to call you Mom and Dad, and for all of the support that you've provided me. And finally, thank you to the English, Communication Studies, and Women's and Gender Studies departments, and every professor, staff member, student, and friend that I've had the pleasure of knowing. You've brought so much light to my time here, and I would not trade our shared experiences for the world. In the spring of my first year, I took Writing 2 with Dr. Susan Mayberry, who began the class by writing 3 letters on the board: C, A, and T. Now, she said, what did I just write? Of course, every person in the room answered with the word cat. And she nodded her head and continued on by saying that we were all correct. But did we know why those letters put together meant the word cat? I shook my head, having no idea where it was that she was going with this lesson, and looking around, my peers were in the same boat. Because we give them meaning, she said. And without meaning, and here she paused to circle the whole word on the board before finishing, and without meaning, all letters are just squiggles on a page. I share this story with you because within the hour, each of us will be taken to the stage to accept a degree that to anyone else may be seen as just squiggles on a page. But to each of us, the words Alfred University and Bachelors of fill in the blank mean so much more. In the 4 years that we have attended Alfred University, each of us has been proud, upset, excited, stressed, frustrated, and many, many other emotions. But in all of that time, we have put an effort into giving those squiggles on the page that we are about to receive so much meaning. Maybe it was being a part of the first undefeated season of Saxon football since 1981, or performing on one of the Miller Theater stages. For some, it was senior shows just last weekend, and for others, it was completing and racing the Baja cart in competition. For me, it was printing the campus newspaper for 2 years straight and leading future graduates in their first semester at Alfred University as a first-year experienced peer leader. In general, though, for all of us, it's been those long nights in the studio or early mornings in the lab. It was sitting in front of a blank computer screen for hours or spending days going over a presentation. Whatever it was, though, we've done it. And I want you to know right now that we have done it well. Our contributions to this university as individuals and as groups have left an impact on this place. We have inspired thought, community, change, and have even provoked hard discussions that have been long overdue. And though we are not the first to do so, and we definitely will not be the last, we've made this place our own. each of us giving a bit of ourselves and providing new meanings to old ideas. The next steps after graduation vary for each of us. Some of us will be continuing on to graduate school, some entering the workforce, and some still figuring it out. And hey, I'm right there with you. But if you take anything from what it is that I have said in the last few minutes here, I want each of you to continue working hard and giving meaning to everything that you do after this day. You know, even in this moment, I still cannot pinpoint what it was that swept me off my feet about this place when I came for an accepted Students' Day in April of 2014. But whatever it was, I am so glad that it did. I am so proud to be an Alfred University grad. To the Alfred University class of 2018, keep learning and keep growing, but know that this place will always be a home and that the meanings that we've given to it will always be ours. Thanks for the memories and congratulations. We did it.
Our second recipient is Beryl Torte. In preparation for today, Beryl told me the audience may not remember her speech, but we will always remember her South African accent. Beryl is from Pretoria, South Africa, a psychology major with a clinical focus, who is a recipient of the Psychology Department Honors. With a GPA of 3.98, she is designated as an Alfred University Scholar and selected as top student among graduates of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences for the 2017-2018 academic year. A former business major, she has been named to the Dean's List every semester of her undergraduate career at Alfred. She is a member of several academic honor societies, including Phi Beta Kappa, Omicron Delta Kappa, Psi Kappa Phi, Phi Kappa Nu, Chi Alpha Sigma. An accomplished writer, Beryl has won the Gertz Award for Excellence in Academic Writing in 2015. During her time here, Beryl has been a resident assistant, tour guide, served on the university's conduct board, tennis captain, and still found time to become trained as a New York State certified EMT for our local fire department. This August, Beryl will be starting a graduate program in clinical psychology at Columbia University's Teachers College. Here's Beryl.
Surprise, Mom. I was told by a wise soul today to picture the audience naked to help me combat my nerves, and I just want to say that was the worst piece of advice ever given to me, because now I don't know where to look. But I'm going to start my graduation speech with an apology directed towards my mom, who had absolutely no idea about this until now. In my defense, I did say she should have some champagne with her breakfast this morning. There are no words to express my gratitude towards my parents. I'm simply grateful that they were wild enough to let me immigrate across the Atlantic Ocean, alone, at the age of 17, from South Africa to Alfred, New York. Thank you. I feel like now is a good time to remind you that I'm still looking for a green card. It's also great to see my sister, Tallulah, who is part of AU's incoming class of 2022 in the audience. Thank you. Along with the rest of my loved ones who have flown from 3 different continents to be here today. During my sophomore year, my father was diagnosed with a terminal, inoperable, incurable, and freakishly aggressive form of cancer. He initially kept his diagnosis hidden from me out of fear that it would interrupt my studies. I found out eventually and made the most important decision of my life by taking a leave of absence to spend time with him during his final moments. So to be standing here in front of you and graduating on time is truly a humbling honor for both my father and I. And I would like to thank every single member of the Alfred community who has helped me get back on my feet. This includes the pharmacist who diligently filled my prescription for Zoloft, and the strangers who, in true Alfred fashion, handed me tissues when it looked like I needed them. And these strangers may or may not have been my advisors, Dr. Gagney and Professor Lewis. In addition, I'd like to thank the psychology department. Ooh. Even Dr. Atlas, who rejected me from the honors program. But luckily for me and for him, this incident was nothing more than a temporary lapse in his judgment. And we remain friends to this day. And to my audience, class of 2018, thank you for sharing incredible memories, some of which are far too embarrassing, unbelievable, or illegal to share publicly today. You're guilty. It has been an honor to cram, chug, and cheer with you. Thank you for making the US feel like home and for inviting me to participate in cultural American activities such as the Super Bowl, 4th of July, Black Friday, Groundhog Day, of course, and Thanksgiving. And shout out to the Barber and DeSormo families for inviting me over for Thanksgiving. We don't need to get into the politics of whose turkey tasted best, but I am very grateful. If you are sitting in the audience today as a family member of a loved one, know that they have survived the most grueling of experiences in the forms of interminable winters, horrifying group projects, and Allegheny County culture shock. So, class of 2018, in the words of the great Post Malone, congratulations. So a couple of months ago, I happened to be driving downstate during a break, and I was a solid 250 miles away from Alfred, and I was pulled over by a state trooper for the first time in my life. And I think we can agree that this is a pretty nerve-wracking incident, and perhaps even more so as a foreigner, almost as nerve-wracking as watching the presidential elections with American friends and watching them freak out. But that's a different story for a different time. This state trooper walked over, asked for my license and registration, and proceeded to ask me where I was driving from. And I replied, Alfred University. And surprisingly, his eyes lit up. And he said, is that the place they play Quidditch? I did not get a ticket that day. But these type of magic encounters are not uncommon for Alfred. Oftentimes, people can't tell you where Alfred is, but they can tell you what happens here. And if they can't, then we are happy to fill in the gaps, because we have more than enough stories about this little valley. Whilst our experiences here are undoubtedly different and thankfully unique, we are bonded together as graduates by the quirks and, frankly, weirdness of Alfred. As a 2018 graduate of Alfred University, you know that the brick is haunted. You know that the GJ stamps on your hands take days to wash off. And you also know that if you lick the pole in the middle of GJ's, you will die. In your 4 years here, you've had a door held open for you every day. You've seen something strange on campus and thought, performance art. You've seen underwear on King Alfred's head. You've seen protests, and you've been in them. You've been stuck in a class titled 18th Century Underwater Basket Weaving, or Doing Science, and watched engineering, art, and psychology majors help each other to pass. And you also know that spring in Alfred is fake news. So the question that we face today as new graduates is, how do we bring about the intangible magic of Alfred into the world? How do we set forth into a world that doesn't always hold doors open for us, or one that doesn't value social justice as much as we do? One that doesn't slow down to appreciate art? One that doesn't realize or appreciate how important ceramics are? And the answer is actually a simple one. We just do. We take the kindness, the light, the sense of community, and we set forth into the world unapologetically. We create, we learn, and we remain curious and committed to our passions. We correct injustices. We go forth and do good. We go forth and be good. We remember where we came from, and we remember to return home. This is the magic of Alfred University, where everyone, with nothing, can come here to create something, which in turn can change everything. Fiat Lux.
How about another round of applause for both outstanding students? I'd like to introduce our provost, Rick Stevens.
How's everybody doing? We're going to get a little exercise here. I would just like to recognize at this time the top-ranking seniors from each of our colleges and schools. And to kind of keep us moving, if you would just hold your applause until I read off each of their names and have them stand, and then we'll give them one large round of applause. So from the College of Professional Studies, Amber Lynn Cramp, would you please stand? Amber is majoring in accounting with a Bachelor of Science degree with a 3.9 GPA. Just really pretty special. Hang on, we'll get there. Don't do it, Angus. Taylor Alexis Kelly from the Kazuo Inamori School of Engineering with a degree in mechanical engineering and a 3.98 GPA. Still, pretty impressive. From the School of Art and Design, Reed Stone McLean, Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with another one of those 3.98 GPAs. And then Beryl Suzanne Ava Torte, Bachelor of Arts from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, degree in psychology, 3.98 GPA. Please, a round of applause for all of them. We're almost there. Will the candidates for Alfred University Scholars in the University Honors Program please rise? That means stand up. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women standing before you are the students who have completed the requirements of the Alfred University Honors Program as set forth by the faculty. Please join me in congratulating them on their accomplishments. Just so you know, we're getting back at Gordon for not accepting Beryl the first time around by moving on to a new director of that program. Well, it's happening, maybe not for that reason. But. Let me call your attention to the graduates who will be wearing special honors cords signifying distinction. Their diplomas will carry the designations cum laude with praise, magna cum laude with great praise, summa cum laude with highest praise. But before we proceed, let me recognize a couple of groups who have contributed significantly to making this day possible for our graduates. The first group includes families. The families of our graduates. Will the parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and other family members directly connected or indirectly connected to our graduates please rise and be recognized on this very happy day? Please stand up. I told you, this was the exercise portion of the program. Yes. Okay, you feeling good? Feeling better? Also, the second group, as a group, to be recognized, especially by the students, but would the faculty here please stand and receive our recognition for a job well done? And now we're on to Conferring of Degrees. Each dean will present the undergraduate degree candidates from their respective college. We begin with Dr. Elizabeth Ann Doby, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dean Doby.
Will the candidates and faculty in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences please stand? Mr. President, the students standing before you are candidates for Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science degrees as appropriate. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for conferment of degrees. The faculty may be seated.
Thank you, Dean Doby. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alfred University Board of Trustees, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science degree. Graduates, please come forward to the stage at this time.
Receiving the degree Bachelor of Arts, Tara Lynn Babcock. Quentin Richard Beta. Brandy Ann Bailey, cum laude. Grace Elizabeth Beekman, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Dylan Neal Benedict. John Anthony Bortz. Kaylin Grace Brandt, cum laude. Brianna Lynn Burdick. Bernadine Abina Butler. Rebecca Lynn Setta, magna cum laude. Jagger Richard Chasty. Antonius Racine Chess, Jr. Amanda L. Clark, magna cum laude. Sarah Naomi Clayberger, cum laude. Christopher David Colbert, cum laude. Jessica Marie Cometa. Maggie Bryce Cornell. Andy Cornell. Samuel Lewis Craver, magna cum laude. McKaylee Ray Kroll. Genevieve Robin Cromwell, cum laude. Michael Patrick Dean, summa cum laude. Olivia Ann Dickinson, cum laude. Hannah Catherine Downs. Samantha Brooke Dugan. Cordero Blue Earl. Daniel James Eaton. Elizabeth Ann Eberts, summa cum laude. Cassidy C. Elston. Bismarck Escolastico. Visangeli Chanel Estrella. River Marie Facklin, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Emily Finney, magna cum laude. Nevia Aisha Gallimore, cum laude. Eli Andy Garcia, cum laude. Andrew David Gardner. Logan Elizabeth G., magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Miranda Rose Gilbert. Nicholas Peters Gioni. Victoria Ann Gomes. Alexandra Rose Goodrich. Shannon Elizabeth Gray, magna cum laude. Corey Abbott Greenberg. Emma Margaret Gromelski. Yaneri K. Guerrero. Rosemond Rose Guerrero. Alexis Nicole Harris Bates. Cassidy LeRae Hasselman, cum laude. Jesse James Heydrich. Shanice Erica Eiffel. Marina Nicole Ilievsky. Taylor Marie Jasko, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Michael Antonio Joyner. Cameron Conway Jones, cum laude. Carrie Rose Keeler, magna cum laude. Teresa K. Kinney, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Siona Kia King. Mariama Cora. Cassandra Justine Cronau. Joseph Charles Lawrence. Dylan Lewis. Martina Lewis. Elizabeth Marie Lingenfelter, summa cum laude. Jordan Michelle Little. Salvador Alexander Lopez. Caitlin Ann Ludwig, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Corbin Michael Luta. Kate Lillian McKay, cum laude. Jordan Robert Earl Manley, cum laude. Savannah Ashley Marcagiani, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Summer Brianne Marcagiani, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Melissa Ann Marks, summa cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Haley Renee Maxon, cum laude.
Congratulations.
Willie McFadden III. Sancha McLean. Flynn Williams Myers. Brandon Charles Miller. Noah Robert Mitchell, magna cum laude. Trevor John Monk, cum laude. Robert Rembrandt Morris IV. Brendan L. Murray, magna cum laude. Jasmine Seja Myers. Allison Caroline Niclario, summa cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Matthew Joseph Natlin. Sarah Margaret Nostran, cum laude. Delaney Nicole O'Hare, cum laude. Kelsey Ivana Oliveira, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Darren Victor Orange. Catherine Donna Potwick. Elizabeth Ann Perrin, cum laude. Amelia Grace Ann Porter, cum laude. My Joy Laseja Powell. Marissa Tyler Ramirez, cum laude. Marvin Reyes. Erica Lynn Rhodes. David Clayton Ridge. Hannah Catherine Wren, cum laude. Rochelle Brianne Rivera. Elvira Rodriguez. Jeremy Michael Rosado. Shannon Morgan Roy, cum laude. Michelle Elizabeth Rush, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Maya J. Rushing. Shannon Ann Schaefer. Jordan Lee Schultz. Zachary Donald Sawillo, cum laude. Aaron Morgan Siebert, magna cum laude. Jordan Sloan Simpson. Samantha Louise Stamp, cum laude. Molly Rose Stansfield, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Toman. Beryl Suzanne Ava Torte, summa cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Jacob Glenn Tucker.
Congratulations. You're welcome.
Emily Louise Tuttle, summa cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Brianna C. Van Dorp, cum laude. Akila Antoinette Wallace. Amanda Dale Weaver, magna cum laude. Jacob Paul Wilcox. Abby Elena Williams, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Rebecca Danielle Wilson, cum laude. Emma Alexis Werlow. Elizabeth Marie Woznicka, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Jason Leonard Zeems. Receiving the degree Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Justin David Hughes, cum laude.
Let's have a final round of applause for the students in CLIS. I'd like to call on Dean Edizel.
Will the candidates and the faculty of the School of Art and Design please stand? Mr. President, the students standing before you are candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts or Bachelor of Science degree as appropriate. They have completed all requirements set forth by the faculty. I'm pleased to present them to you for conferment of degrees. The faculty may be seated.
Thank you, Dean Edizel. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alfred University Board of Trustees, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree or Bachelor of Science degree. Graduates, please come forward to the stage at this time.
Receiving the degree Bachelor of Fine Arts, Rebecca Ruth Adenolfi, cum laude. Nathaniel Harry Alexander, magna cum laude. Sarah Ann Baumandiggs, cum laude. Brittany Marie Belvet, cum laude. Charlie M. Best, summa cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Madison Smith Britsky. McLean Stokes Butcher. Christopher David Kadrigari. Thomas Edward Campbell. Jessica Dawn Cheng, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Lindsay Catherine Corona, cum laude. Sloan Catherine Connors. Patricia Lauren Cowan, cum laude. Kira Swift Cushing, cum laude. Sarah Marie Danielson, magna cum laude. Sophia Elena DiPaolo. Adriana K. Enoch, cum laude. Jacqueline Ann Fisher, cum laude. Francesco Joseph Gattuso. Eleni Lila Tobin Gavrielatos, cum laude. Imani Shanice Graves. Ines Hassan. Lauren Christine Havel, cum laude. Sean Michael Heverin. Noah Heyman, cum laude. Hannah Grace Holmes, cum laude. Aline Marie Houghton. Bryn Elise Hyde, cum laude. Kellen Jansen, cum laude. Leah Rose Kazanowicz. Emma Ann Kane, cum laude. Kiyoshi Buckminster Keneshiro, cum laude. Jamie Elena Kent. Natalie Ann Lambert. Faith Sexton Lanphier. Christiana Rose Lehman, cum laude. Thomas James Logan. Margaret Mary Longchamp. Hayden J. Maltese. Moody Marinaro. Megan Summer Mayall. Molly Lynn Mayfield, cum laude. Reed Stone McLean, summa cum laude. Megan E. Mendelson. Paige Jamison Moreland, cum laude. Trevor Kane Ninos, cum laude. Michelle Ann Nugent. Emma Lindsay Oliver, cum laude. Hannah Marie Paz, cum laude. Jasmine Emma Rind Palermo, cum laude. Jenna Marie Pierce. Skylar Luana Piscati, cum laude. Jesse Edward Plask, magna cum laude. Noelle Marie Pomfrey. Christina Lee Rhodes, cum laude. Danielle Olivia Schaefer. Eliza Deanne Conkus Schweitzer, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Corin Alice Shrimpton, magna cum laude. Amber Lynn Simmons. Jessica Lynn Staff, cum laude. Luke Vincente Tesorero. Matthew David Watterson, cum laude. Gabrielle Haley Weiss. Sarah Lynn Willis, cum laude. Gabrielle Elise Yeager, magna cum laude. Kyle Robert Zarikny.
And now a rousing round of applause for our new graduates from the School of Art and Design. May be seated. Now I would like to introduce my colleague, Dr. Alistair Cormack, Dean of the Untitled School of Engineering.
Thank you, Dean Edisel. Will the candidates and faculty in the Kazuo Inamori School of Engineering please stand? Mr. President, the students standing before you are candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree. They have completed all of the requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present you to them for the conferment of degree. Faculty may be seated.
Thank you, Dean Cormack. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alfred University Board of Trustees, and upon your faculty's recommendation, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Science degree. Graduates, please come forward to the stage at this time.
Receiving the degree Bachelor of Science in Biomaterials Engineering, Leah Nicole Allen. Daniel Anthony Carter. Connor Philip Cox, cum laude. Jeffrey Allen Denault, cum laude. Sierra Keegan Kutzko, magna cum laude. Diana Elizabeth Lang. Paul William Lee, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Ryan Daniel Wetzel, cum laude. In ceramic engineering, David Michael Carloni. Daniel James D'Elia. Leno Miyagi Kuramoto. Powers Anthony McInnes. Jenna Matera, cum laude. Luke Lee Rich. John Nathan Steer, cum laude. Emily Frances Steiner, cum laude. Caesar Michael Tronelone. Justin Walter Wu Wisniewski. In Material Science and Engineering, Connor Michael Budziszewski. Jason Michael Chanenko. Cody Michael Cronmiller. Frangelico D. Del Rosario, magna cum laude. David Euromilio Guapasaka. Charles Addison Hewlett IV. Nicholas John Tostanowski, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Michael Eric Wisniewski. Zachary Paul Young. The Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Hayden J. Ellis. Brian Ronald Boylston, cum laude. Patrick Garrett Marshall Brown. Elizabeth Ashley Burnett, Alfred University Scholar. Derek Philip Sorello. Benjamin Larkin Cleaver. Cooper Townsend Cole, cum laude. Matthew Richard Cortez. Keenan Nathaniel Dennis. Hunter Anthony DiPonso. Matthew Peter Durst. Eric Forrest Dreyfus, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Justin Carl Fossum, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Matthew Paul Freitag. Michael Anthony Garalia, cum laude. Jacqueline Carey Hicks. Kobe Jordan Joseph. Taylor Alexis Kelly, summa cum laude. Joshua Edward Kinsey, cum laude. Gregory John Kreinheder Jr., cum laude. Richard Daniel Lander, summa cum laude. Ryan Benjamin Martin. Cameron Alexander Martineau. Zachary E. McCormick. Melanie Marie Megan, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Robert George Monroe, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Stephen Matthew Montfort. Michael Bradley Nowak. Zachary Christian Perro. Miguel Arturo Reyes. Matthew Thomas Roeder. Daniel Esteban Sanabria. Austin Mark Stephanie Ellen Stevenson, cum laude. Christopher Matthew Tabacher, cum laude. Alec John Toth, cum laude. Hugh New Tran, cum laude. George William Tyson IV, cum laude. John Robert Vecchio. Kevin David Volz, cum laude. Brandon Carlos Witten Sosa. Mark Ben Witterman. Liam Thomas Wood. Garrett Delmos Wright, cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Julianne Susan Yendel. Receiving the degrees Bachelor of Science in Renewable Energy Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Grace Scoons, magna cum laude. The degree Bachelor of Science, Renewable Energy Engineering, Samuel Gaetano DeRizio, cum laude. Christopher Martin, Doctor. Matthew Horizon Finley. Zachary Thomas Mapes, cum laude. Jackson Lucas Norwood. Evan Braden Swent.
Let's have another round of applause for our latest engineering graduates. You may be seated now. I'd like to introduce Director Lewis from the School of Business.
Thank you, Dean Cormack. Will the candidates and faculty in the College of Professional Studies please stand? Mr. President, the students standing before you are candidates for the Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts degree as appropriate. They have completed all requirements as set forth by the faculty. I am pleased to present them to you for conferment of degrees. The faculty may be seated.
Thank you, Dean Lewis. By virtue of the authority vested in me by our university's Board of Trustees, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts degrees. Graduates, please keep coming forward to the stage at this time.
Bachelor of Science, School of Business, Alexander Christopher Armstrong King. Brenda Paulette Baker, cum laude. Samantha Marie Bates. Kristen Rose Brown, cum laude. Christopher N. Bucciarelli. Aiden Charles Calkins. Andrew Keith Champagne. Michael Joseph Champagne. Amber Lynn Cramp, summa cum laude. Cody Robert Crippen. Heather Ann DeAndrea, cum laude. Ariana Marie Dibble, cum laude. Eric Haas Deal. Abby Lynn Fox, cum laude. Rosa Elena Gomez. Andrew James Grant. Zachary David Griffith. Christopher Mark Gutierrez. Tobias John Hale. Julia Kathleen Harkenrider, cum laude. Tristan Stephen Hooks. Eric William Kwitnewski. David Joseph Laspina, cum laude. Alexander John Licata, cum laude. Jesse Lawrence Lichtman, cum laude. Thomas Alexander McDonald, cum laude. Emily Nicole McWilliams. Mitchell James Miracle. Sean Clay Monroe.
Victory! Way to go, Mitch. Thank you.
Sarah Hope Mulholland. Justin Rose Newhouse. Jeffrey Danid Nunez. Stephen James Olden. Catherine Nicole Paz. Connor Charlesworth Pum. Nicholas James Schmidt. Jonathan Cummings Smith. Jason Alexander St. John, magna cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Sugg, cum laude. Brett Raymond Thompson. Alan Vincent Vitali, cum laude. Axelina M. White. Bridget Phyllis Winnicky, cum laude. Bethany Rose White. Zhen Yang Zhao. The degree Bachelor of Science, Division of Health and Human Performance. In Athletic Training, Tyler Ray Alawi. Alexander Preston Barsky. Dalton Edward Cousin.
Thank you.
Teresa Mary Fallon. Evan Lynn Linza. Anthony Thomas Gregory Penn. Chelsea Paige Petrokowski, cum laude. Haley Ann Powers. Seth James Spicer, cum laude. Shaquana Joy Webb. Vincent Michael Williams, cum laude. The Bachelor of Science in Health Fitness Management, Dean Lupo. Samantha Joanne Shanahan. Ty Andrew Timmerman. Bachelor of Science, Division of Education, Ashanti Sharia Avery. Stephanie Castillo. Kelsey Madden Evoy, cum laude. Corinne Nicole House, magna cum laude. Michael Francis Marticello. Anne Impinga, magna cum laude. Brittany Michelle Orlowski, summa cum laude. Alyssa Marie Patchen, cum laude. Dariana Carolina Reyes. Brianna Lynn Robards, magna cum laude. Lacey Annalise Short, summa cum laude. Megan Elizabeth Steen, magna cum laude, Alfred University Scholar. Aubrey Reed Tatzline, magna cum laude. Sarah Catherine Whitney.
How about one big round of applause for all these graduates?
You can be seated, please. I would now like to introduce Fred George, class of 1975, who will induct our new graduates into the Alumni Association. Fred.
Will the newly minted graduates please rise? So, good afternoon. To begin with, allow me to extend my personal congratulations to each and every one of you. Job well done. Before we conclude today's ceremonies, I have the distinct pleasure and privilege of inducting you into Alfred University's Alumni Association. The Alumni Association was founded in 1886, which makes it nearly as venerable as the university itself, and consists of more than 33,000 living Alfred alumni around the world. As students, you've been the benefactories of the educational experience that is Alfred University. As alumni, you are the caretakers of that experience. Fulfill your responsibilities as stewards by participating in your Alumni Association. It is a great way to maintain existing friendships, to develop new ones, and to help lead Alfred in the years ahead. You can help to preserve the full authority of the diploma you have just earned by being a good steward of the university that awarded you it. On behalf of all of Alfred's alumni, past and present, I congratulate you on your academic achievement as we celebrate the passage of this important educational milestone in your life. Welcome to the Alfred University Alumni Association. We are delighted to have you join us. If they are not already there, this is the magic moment. Please, move your tassel to the left, to the left, to the left. Once again, I extend my congratulations, and you may now be seated. Thank you.
You are cordially invited to attend one of the following receptions after commencement, which are in the program along with the campus map. College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in Aid Hall, School of Art and Design in McGee Pavilion, Harder Hall Lobby, the Kauzu Inamori School of Engineering in Binns Merrill Hall, the College of Professional Studies in Olin, Graduate Counseling and School Psychology in the Powell Institute. The University Bookstore will be open until 1:30 today. Soon, I will call upon graduating seniors from the AU Chamber Singers, Delaney O'Hare, Julianne Yendel, Elisa Schweitzer, Melanie Megan, Cassidy Hasselman, Jordan Schultz, and Emma Brown Shakely to lead us in the alma mater, followed by the benediction. But before doing so, I've been asked to offer some brief words of benediction. First, let me ask our class of 2018 to stand and again be recognized. Please be seated. As Provost Stevens also acknowledged your family and loved ones, thank you for the support you've provided. An early Happy Mother's Day to Dr. Cohen and all the other mothers in attendance. We literally none of us would be here without the mothers in our families. For those of us who studied marketing, there are 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. Graduates, you heard from Fred George as you were being inducted to the Alumni Association, the request to be good stewards. And as stewards, would like to ask for 4 I's from you. Number 1, your involvement. Whether it's opening the door for future generations to attend Alfred University, through our visa program recommending, encouraging them to apply and then matriculate, whether it's through the APEX program to help identify experiential applied opportunities for future graduates, whether it's coming back as a speaker or mentor, whether it's helping fellow alums with networking. Second I, we ask for your input. You are ultimately the owners of our university. And feedback, as the saying goes, is the breakfast of champions. Number 3, the third I, is investment. The folks behind me have made the opportunities to a great extent possible that you've enjoyed. So as you've swung to the left, pay it forward to the next generation to ensure that we keep providing these magical experiences to future generations of Alfred University students. The fourth I, and it was alluded to in several of our speakers, inspiration. Our 2 honorary degree recipients were selected by our Board of Trustees because of their ability to inspire. Our 2 Marlon Miller Award winners, student seniors, were selected largely for that same reason. There's an old saying that character is destiny. And there's a corollary to it: an organization's culture is destiny. We heard from Don Mcpherson in his keynote remarks, you will have many opportunities to build that character and contribute to that culture. There's a feeling that sometimes those opportunities come when our backs are to the wall and we face challenging situations. Abraham Lincoln, though, thought it exactly opposite. It's when times are flush that character really gets identified or built. And we can see pretty much daily in the newspapers cases where people that are on top of the world make stupid decisions. That spans political parties, it spans gender, it spans race and ethnicity. Our university motto hails from the book of Genesis. It's in the 3rd verse. The first 2 verses basically point out that creation without definition leaves an amorphous mass, leaves a void. So I would just encourage you to keep especially close eyes on the inspiration. Be that illumination that defines your character and seizes daily opportunities to build it, or the culture of your families or your organizations that you're going to be part of. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Be the light. Fiat Lux.
Nestled away mid the Empire State Hills, 'neath the watch care of sentinel pines, where the murmuring song of the brook comes along, and a favoring sun ever shines. In a valley so fair where the forest trees share dominion o'er hillside and glen, stands the pioneer college of Western New York. Alfred, we hail thee again. Hail to thee, Alfred, thou guide of our youth, sweet benign mother, all hail. Sing of thy anthems of duty and truth. May thy clear ringing music ne'er fail.
Wait now.
And now, cherishing memories forever sacred, strengthened by wisdom gained, molded by love that will endure, may you go from this place in confidence that you are ready to meet the challenges that lie ahead of you. And on behalf of your parents, your families, your friends, and the Alfred University community, we thank you for giving us this day, and we pray that the road ahead of you may be filled with peace. Amen.
Thank you.